A very warm welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod, second pod of the week. Well, it's the Six Nations, of course. There's plenty of content getting out there as well. We're always here week in, week out. Let's go through the details of round two. It's here already. Saturday, 3:15. These are GMT times. Ireland against France at Musgrove Park. That's on BBC Northern Ireland and the iPlayer. 5:30 for Scotland against Wales at the Dam Health Stadium. BBC Two and the iPlayer in the UK for that one. On a Sunday, England against Italy, BBC Two and the iPlayer. In New Zealand, you can watch on Sky, France TV in France, Supersport in South Africa, DAZN in Canada, Flow Sports in the USA. BBC Wales and Northern Ireland, Scotland are picking up these games as well. And if any more confirmation required, then the Women's Six Nations website for all the broadcast details. Just gives me huge pleasure. She's not a guest, she's a co-host. She's back in the chair. Sarah Hunter, MBE. How the devil are you? Are you floating down from sort of cloud nine? Were you about 7, 8 still, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just, I think just trying to let it all sink in, you know. It was the most incredible day, like beyond anything I could ever wish for, you know. Like making that decision to finish at Newcastle, like I knew it was a good one, I knew it was right, but I didn't know how right it was. It was just like beyond anything I could ever imagined. Yeah, I feel so incredibly lucky that like I finished on my terms at a place that like is incredibly special to me in front of all my friends and family. Yeah,
I've been blown away by the adoration and love, what have you, that's been pouring out for you. Is that still coming? Is there one little bit that stands out? Yeah,
no, I'm still getting some cards and presents through the post, which is like amazing. Messages here or there. Like it feel like social media has just continued. I apologize for all the spam that was on there over the last week. Yeah, it's just all really special. I don't think there's one thing above anything else that you wanna single out, because I just so like grateful and thankful for everyone who's reached out in whatever format that looks like. It just was overwhelming in such a wonderful way that I just like still trying to get back to people. It's been crazy, absolutely crazy.
I've got a little special something planned, but I'm not going to say any more. I'll sort of tribute, but we will do that and I know you've been quite rightly in demand this week on being pinched for other various podcasts and what have you. So you've spoken plenty about that. There's no point going over the bits and pieces, but I just want to say I was with the squad last week, and a couple of people of the English management said, and I quote, "What on earth are we going to do without her?" And you can pull that face all you like, Sandra, but just it was so lovely. Almost like the Queen of English rugby. You've been there for so long, so consistent. The standards are so high, and I've never ever heard anyone in any walks of rugby, women's rugby, and I've been knocking around for 25 years or whatever, that has a bad word to say about you. How does that all sink in with you now, or does it not really?
No, I don't think it does. Like, I think in time probably, but I genuinely like.
You're a national treasure.
I'm not sure I'd go that far. But I do think everything comes to an end, everything, and people move on. And there's like, we've got just keep saying the Red Roses has got
them.
Yeah, them.
Come on.
Like there's such a good group, you know, people like Marley's been great. Like Marley will be in her element. She'll naturally like fall into that role that she does so well anyway, and she'll do it in a different way and rightly so. You know, you've got to be authentic to who you are, you know, and me moving away will give other people the space to grow and to become leaders and take this side on. Like that's always been the way. You know, you look at some of the greats beforehand and you think, well, how are the Red Roses going to manage without them? But people find a way, people find their own way, and they'll be like just as brilliant, and they'll be like even better, and they'll move the squad on to what's next. And like the thing that I'm looking forward to is seeing that happen, and to see all those players like grow into like the brilliant people and players and leaders that they are. And I'll be there supporting them all the way in doing that. But they will be absolutely fine without me. Absolutely fine. I've got absolutely no doubt about it.
I don't doubt that they will be fine without you. But yes, huge loss, huge hole. And yeah, I think I'd speak to absolutely everybody. Just a massive thank you for what you've given, the time, the hours, the sweat, the tears, so not just you but the rest of your family as well, to sacrifice, giving up for the cause. It's been brilliant, but fantastic. We've got Anna Caplice coming on the Women's Rugby Pod to go through the 3 fixtures at the weekend. Here's Anna Caplice.
I'm Jill Burns, and you're listening to the wonderful Women's Rugby Pod.
Anna, how are you? We should say hola, shouldn't we? Because you're out in Spain on your galactic travels and playing.
Sí, estoy. I'm in Spain playing for a couple of months. And yeah, I haven't picked the sunniest part of Spain because it's windy and like quite cold, not the typical kind of Spanish living people expect, because I'm in Galicia, which is like northwest coast, but the food's really good.
Good. You didn't look it up on a map before going?
I did. I just, the opportunity came up and I was like, oh, do I want a bit more sun? And then I was like, no, I'm going to take whatever kind of comes into my path. So I went for it, and here I am.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been whizzing around all over the place, but today we're going to get your expertise on the Six Nations. Before you just came on, you guys had a weird place where you first met.
Yes, we did. So very random. So kind of linked to why I'm living in Spain at the moment is I studied languages. So I studied abroad in Vienna to learn German. But I didn't do much German learning, to be honest. But I played rugby while I was there, and I actually ended up playing for Austria unofficially. Like, I didn't get capped with them, but I did play with them when they were like preparing for tournaments and stuff, Austria Sevens. And we had a camp, and we had a guest coach in Graham Smith one year, and he brought an assistant coach, Sarah Hunter. So it was very random, but it was awesome.
Really cool. The experience. I think you were my saviour in trying to translate for people, because there's a lot of different languages going on.
Yeah, it's awesome actually, like how they run things and organize things. And I was the DJ on the last night. Do you remember that? And I couldn't find the other DJ. It was me and another girl. I couldn't find her. I was like, she must be gone to bed. And then I looked under the DJ box and she was asleep. So that was how we celebrated on the last night. That gave me the role of DJ. But it was so cool. We learned so much, like from you and from Graham, and like to have everyone there training together was class. That is
right up there, isn't it? That as a Sevens coaching duo, it's right up there. You don't need Simon Amor or Mike Fridays.
A lot of it was like emerging nations. So you had, I don't know, like Romania, Hungary, Poland, like a lot of Eastern European countries. So I don't think we just go into the greater depths of Sevens knowledge. It was more the basics of rugby, which was the main coaching points.
Yeah, technical stuff.
Brilliant. I mean, I would love to wax lyrical about your previous days in Hungary for the rest of the afternoon, but time is precious, time is money and all that jazz. Teams are dropping left, right and centre. Got all of them now, apart from Italy at time of record. We're going to go through this weekend's fixtures. Just to remind you, of course, Saturday, Ireland against France, 3:15, Scotland, Wales, 5:30, and on Sunday, England take on Italy. Ireland, straight to it down, Anna Caplice. A few changes in there, 5 in all. Vicky Owen comes into the centres. Dano O'Brien at 10. While Christy Haney and Saracens Grace Moore and Derv Nicovard come in at 3, 7 and 8 respectively. Have I pronounced that all correctly?
Yeah. Very good.
Continents everywhere. Those changes right for you?
I think so. Sadly, Ireland lost Enya Breen, who brings a lot of experience to their back line, so she'll definitely be missed. But I'm excited for Vicky Irwin. I've been very impressed by her, and she's got great go forward, and I think this game time will be great for her. So I'm delighted for her. And the other changes, I think it was kind of warranted after last week, and Ireland seemed to hit their stride after they'd made changes for whatever reason that may be. Yes, there was kind of lack of experience, but also players that seemed to be playing out of position to what they usually would with their club or with their province. So I think, a lot of that comes down to the fact that Ireland didn't have a warm-up game, which we usually do. I know the window now is in a different place, but also, at the same time, and this weekend there's a Four Nations going on in here in Spain, and South Africa, Wales organised a warm-up game with South Africa. Just would have liked to have seen Ireland reach out to one of those teams as well to get a fixture against them, because it seemed to me that they were trying the things that they should have tried in a warm-up game, because it looked like that. It was like, who's in what position? And that's how you think sometimes when you're in a warm-up game, because you're like trying out different things or whatever. So I would have liked to have seen a bit more kind of cohesion by the time they hit that first minute of the game, but it didn't seem to come for a little while. So I think these changes are warranted, and they'll hopefully take confidence in the way they finished a bit more cohesively that second half versus Wales to bring into this weekend versus France. Yeah,
because it very much looked like that, didn't it? Especially first half, and Wales, with a very experienced centre partnership, tore them to pieces defensively in that first half. And by the time they caught the tail, the game has gone. What do you make of the change at 10 specifically?
Very young Dana O'Brien coming in there, but she really impressed last week. And we talk a lot about like age and experience, and especially in such a key position like 10. But if someone comes off the bench and kind of changes the game, she kicked really well. I think you have to go with it and back her, and she certainly earned it. And like Nicole Cronin is brilliant, and to have her at 10, and her experience there. But I'd like to see her, a bit more at 9, with Dana at 10. I think that was a really good partnership. So with France coming in now, there's no room to breathe. So you're like, okay, here we go again. Brush yourself off. Let's get ready. And I think they've gone with what they feel, and especially at 10, when you make a difference like that, go for it, and good luck to her. And I hope she proves everyone right who believes in her, and that age or experience for her at this stage won't affect it.
She can be as confident as she likes, Sunter, but actually she's got to have the ball. Now you look at that Irish pack, and there's plenty of players that you would have played against, and very good players. Linda Dugang, Niamh Jones, of course, the captain Nicola Friday, Sam Monaghan in there as well, Dorothy Wall. Household names in terms of women's rugby. What didn't they get right last week that they need to get right this week against one of the most fearsome packs in the women's game?
I think the big thing is that they just probably need to almost look at that second half and sort of park that first half performance and take the positives from that second half, because it like Anna says, it was much improved. And I think again, going into it, like Anna says, you can probably see that they haven't played for a long time together, and they have got changes, they've got new coaches in and stuff. So I think they've just got to go back real to basics. They have to have ball to play off. So that pack is where that experience lies, and you'd be looking to the players that you just mentioned to sort of galvanise the troops and and try and get them on the front foot so they can get into the game. And I think that'll be the first half. I think bringing someone in that kicks is absolutely fundamental against France. We saw the Italy game, and unfortunately they didn't probably have the kicker to get them out of trouble at times. And if they'd had a better kicker against France, could we have seen a different result? So I think having someone that is able to do that is real fundamental.
And Vicky Owen, who you would know, a very unfussy player. She's far more than up and down, but you know what I mean. She's one of those kind of centres, as Anna said, get some really good go forward. Got to stem the flow that comes through Gabrielle Vernier, who has been exceptional for the last year. Because if those French backs get it, they've got a change at 15. Boulard is out. Bourgeois comes in. Change at tight head as well. Joyeux comes in for Calafui. Other than that, they are unchanged. But she can run them up, can't she, Gabrielle Vernier? And somebody as physical as Vicky Owen may well stop that flow.
Yeah, I think so. And I think France are funny. And they will have been like kind of frustrated. I know the conditions weren't good, and the ball was like a bar of soap last week for them. So a lot of handling errors. So I think they could either, get together this week and like change everything and get it like pristine and bring that to Ireland, or they could kind of let that fester a little bit and like let their kind of frustrations like continue to simmer. So it could be a good opportunity. Yeah, I agree. And like when we talk about the changes that Ireland need to make, I think last week they didn't bring physicality that I know and they know and everyone knows that they can. And I think in a way they can kind of take comfort in the fact that, okay, we actually didn't play that well. We can play better, and physically they can put a lot more pressure on, like Sam Monaghan and Niamh Jones especially, like that just served up so many like physical fronts last year. Like Ireland, what they did the most offensive tackles out of any team last year in Six Nations, and they didn't do one last week or nothing that kind of even came close to it. So they need to find that spark in them again. And if they can bring that physically, like, and even let it kind of filter out towards their maybe less experienced back line, because it's something, when you make a massive hit, it affects the whole team. Everyone gets something from it, and you can be on the front foot in defence as well. If the forwards can kind of like serve that up and let it filter out into the back line, then they could get into the French girls' heads and fluff things up for them, and their good handling and everything could fall apart. That's what I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping that they can do that.
And are they being asked with as you say, no warm-up game, only 3 tests since the last Six Nations, 7 players, which is effectively the entirety of the back line? Are these girls being asked to go into a boxing ring with their hands tied behind their backs? Because this Six Nations, say every year, but it's as competitive as it is now. Every side has a level of professionalism to it now, in terms of contracts and what have you. Is there a danger that Ireland are just getting too far cut adrift here?
Yeah.
So it's a bigger question, I know, but I'm fascinated to get your thoughts.
Yeah, we are. We're already too far behind. Like when you think of 10 years ago, the girls won a Grand Slam. How could we be so far behind in 10 years? But it's been coming for a long time, and I'm very frustrated with it, and I'm very impatient with it as well. And like, the players got together last year, and we sent a letter that addressed our concerns, and there was a review, and they've come up with a plan. Like they have a plan now, and like, good, okay, there's a plan, but I'm speaking personally, but I know a lot of people feel this way. I'm not going to be happy until I see it working, and we can't just do it, as a reaction and for something to, we shouldn't be thinking about, right, how are we going to beat Wales next year, or how are we going to build and eventually like come third again. Like for a team who used to be winning Six Nations championships, we should be thinking, how do we win the Six Nations? Because for my entire career, with Ireland, we were always aiming for third. That's when we've got a men's team and an under-20s team that are winning Grand Slams, and it was so brilliant for rugby in Ireland, and it's such an amazing achievement for them. I want the same for the women, and I want us to be not just doing stuff as a reaction and not just, okay, let's give contracts now because everyone else is doing it. Like, no, how do we build what they have in England is what we need to do. Be not just doing the bare minimum, not just enough, going the extra mile to build this back to where it was. It's not going to happen overnight, I know, but like I said, I'm impatient with it, and I'm going to keep asking, questions and encouraging the girls to just keep going and keep asking and keep knocking on doors. And yeah,
I think that's all they can do. Yeah, some weights behind. I mean, even from a personal point of view, even just to get a current Irish player on a podcast, it's an extraordinary process. One that we just don't have the time to do. It's absolutely bonkers.
That's why I retired, so I could come and chat to you.
Yeah, there you are. Perfect. Look, yeah, let's move on. Sorry, I sort of set you up there for getting all passionate and hot under the collar, but I make no excuse about it, because it is still there, and it's, we do still need to keep beating the drum. It's a formidable French pack, Sunter. You've had some proper battle days against the ladies in blue. That is a formidable pack. What do you make of their back row in particular? Some youngsters coming through now.
Yeah,
retirees over the summer.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think with everything at the end of a World Cup, that people obviously retire, step down, you have new blood coming in, and especially with what now 2.5 year turnaround to the next World Cup, they're certainly blood in those players, but they're players that have proven themselves when they've been given that opportunity, but also they've proven themselves at an under-20s level. They've got a formidable pathway from 18s, 20s through to their seniors. So yes, there might be a few names that are new to people, but believe you me, they are right up there with that standard of play in international Test rugby in the Six Nations. And yeah, the back row in France is always pretty strong, whoever they've got in there. And to see Hermé on the bench, who was their captain over the last however many years, is a telling sign. And they've got new coaches in, new head coaches, maybe trying a few new things out. They've got new captain Fulani. So yeah, I think like Anna says, they would have been frustrated with their performance last week. I know weather conditions are thrown into that, and you never quite predict how the French are going to come back from that. So it will be really interesting. Obviously, they've got to go away again, which is always tough, having 2 back-to-back away matches for the first game. So it will be interesting to see how they turn up, and how Ireland turn up more so, because Ireland have got nothing to lose at the end of the day. I think everyone knows as a player when you've played well or you can play better, and just hoping that they come out fighting to give France a run for their money.
We do need to move on to the other games, Anna, but just very quickly before I get a prediction from you both, what constitutes success for Greg McWilliams' side on Saturday?
Keeping control of the game for sustained periods. And what I mean by that is kind of allowing them to gather momentum, link between forwards and backs. There were glimpses I saw last week of them really nicely using the player out the back from an attacking, so two lines of attack in the back line. That literally, as soon as it started to go, just was stopped at source, and there was an error, or they lost the battle of contact or something. So to build some phases that allow them to get excited, I'd love to see that. Scoreline aside, I want them to perform well. It's funny, when I've lost to England by 50-5 or something crazy like that. And we would have said afterwards, geez, we were really happy with parts of that, because there was such a massive difference that for us to have like held out and stuck together in like defense, and then to be kind of beaten on the outside or like lost in some kind of the same area as like a maul or you know, the crazy maul that England has, like to be able to find parts of your game where you were like, we were really happy with that. I'd like to see Ireland, you know, put in a performance that players are proud of themselves, and that the team can be like, oh, okay, that's a glimpse of what we can achieve, and what might worry other teams if they can't, you know, achieve the same kind of stemming the flow like you were talking about that France can.
Scoreline, who's winning?
France. I'm gonna give them my like maybe 15 to 20 points.
Sunter?
France. Do you want to know the exact scoreline or just by how many?
This week, you could do whatever you like, Sarah Hunter.
I'm going to go 40 points to 5. 7. We'll go 7. 40 points to 7.
Ireland, France, all wrapped up. Oh yeah, I mean, there's loads more to talk about it, but we do have to move on.
You haven't given your prediction.
No. France by 28 plus. Is that right?
We'll move on.
Moving on to Scotland, Wales. You talking about, you know, when you play against England, you may be beaten heavily on the scoreboard, but actually there's moments, and I think probably that's where Scotland will have been. So to be able to, I don't know whether you watched the game back or not, but Scotland will have taken plenty from that result, despite it being, you know, 58-7.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they would have done. And I think you have to, regardless of whether you win or lose, you've got to take elements that, you know, you've been working on in training, that you're happy with, that you want to take forward to the following week's game. And some of their attacking play was really good. You know, they challenged us right at the beginning, and it took some last minute ditch defending to stop them from scoring. So I think there's definitely elements that they will be really pleased. You know, you look at Chloe Rowley's try, you know, at the pressure that they had on in this, especially the late on in the second half. I think I genuinely think they've got a lot of positives to take into the game against Wales on Saturday.
And especially to have like finished on a note that they did, they'll have that feeling in their pocket, you know, to have played in and they were pushing for that extra try. It's funny because the crowd were like cheering them on, and it was very exciting. Like the first 10 minutes, I thought they were really good, and then the last 10 minutes as well was like, okay, if that's how you're going to play, you might as well, if that's how the overall performance is going to go, you might as well take that they started well and they finished well to take a feeling into next week. So good on them for doing that. It was very exciting. Brilliant,
wasn't it? And I yeah, Brian Easton's gone with an unchanged 23, and why wouldn't you? What particularly impressed me, and I think we all know that they could have completely sort of not imploded, but a hell of a lot going on in the background, and has been for a while, and plenty has been sorted out, but there's still plenty up in the air. Just they turned that page post World Cup and came back with a real positive air, and I know they've got some more detail in the coaching group, and some fresh energy, some fresh voices that we spoke to Lana Skeldon last week on the pod about. But yeah, some real attacking intent, and somebody like Emma Orr. I keep going on about this lady, but she's a real sort of bright spark, and being billed as a young Emily Scarrett, I'd quite happily take that billing.
Yeah, any player would take that, I think. Yeah, I was really impressed with her as well. And you know, when you're kind of young and you're finding your feet and you're coming in and you're building your status as a player, like it's good to have you play kind of so fearlessly against England. I feel like we turned up sometimes against, you know, an amazing English side and played kind of conservatively, and I think you can't do that against a team like England, you know, and fair play to her, and she was brave, and I think that fed into the rest of the Scottish team.
They will be coming up against a Welsh side, Sarah Hunter. Ciara Bevan, lively, great character amongst that Welsh squad. Her 50th cap. Georgia Evans moves into the second row with Gwen Crabb going out, knee injury. I just gutted for her. She'll just come back, hasn't she? Sinead Harris goes in at 8, moving Bethan Lewis over to the blind side. Other than that, they're unchanged, but they will properly have their tails up, won't they? They will be on a crest of a wave. It's a big old crowd. It's a great win, brilliant way to start a new chapter. And if you want to hang your hat on something, Ciara Bevan's 50th is a decent place to start this week against Scotland.
Yeah, you know, Wales are very much a confident side as well, and I think everything they've been doing over the sort of past 12 months, you know, with their contracts, the games at the World Cup is certainly all coming together now, you know, and I think that showed in their performance against Ireland. And like Anna said before, you can probably see that difference between having game time, having professional contracts for a long time now, that actually it's starting to tell on the pitch. And I think they put a very comprehensive performance out. I think obviously second half Ireland came back into it and Wales did fall away a little bit, so I'm sure they'll be looking to do that, especially knowing going up to Scotland. Scotland will be a different side to how they will do. They'll start strong, they'll finish strong, and no doubt they'll get more in that middle part. So it proves to be a really interesting clash, you know, between the two sides. They're always pretty tight, and they're always sort of like fine margins. So I'm really excited to see it, actually.
I completely agree. I'm really excited for it, and I kind of didn't really think about it until this week. And I kind of like, oh yeah, the fixtures are up, and I was like, ooh, Scotland, Wales, like that's interesting. And I'm really happy for the girls I'm really happy for the Welsh girls who, you know, been like banging on the door for a long time to like get what they wanted, and it wasn't easy, you know, transitioning into like to get their contracts, and Scotland the same. So now this is and it's always hard to tell, like after the first round of Six Nations, you're like, okay, we'll know where everyone stands now next week. But actually, you know, did Ireland pose enough of a challenge for Wales? How are Scotland going to respond to that scoreline? So we actually don't really know like what we're in for this weekend. So I'm super excited for it.
It's turning out to be one of the great rivalries in this Six Nations, isn't it? And 24-19, something like that last year in the Six Nations. Of course, Ciara Bevan dramatically in the World Cup to seal that victory. Yeah, a fascinating game. Where's it going to be won and lost in particular? I'm going to just move both of you two, strangely enough, towards the back row. Sinead Harris was out of favour for a while and a funny, bumpy old period for Wales, that you alluded to, Anna. But she's an absolute force of nature, isn't she? What's she like to play against?
I'm glad I don't have to play against Wales anymore. They're so dogged. And I find it with Wales as well, like they do their homework well. And I remember like going to Cardiff Park, and we'd done some really good homework on them, and we were kind of expecting one thing, and they presented us a really different picture, and we kind of had no answers. And I just remember they were like a brick wall all day, kind of that they hadn't shown earlier in the tournament. And a lot of that was down to their back row. And my God, they're just so it's such a dogfight always with Wales. Like, and I mean that in the best, nicest way possible. And yeah, they will be key. But you've got two back rows here that are completely biased on this anyway. We always are going to say that the places where it's won and lost is like in the back row.
I completely agree, and they're even more dogged around their breakdown and their back row. You know, you've got Sinead, you've got Alex Callender, you've got Beth Ann Lewis. Like, there's no release there. It's relentless, continuously for 80 minutes, and
that's without Alicia Butchers as well.
Yeah, without Alicia Butchers. And then you just know, like, all day long they're gonna come at you. They'll be holding on in the ruck. There'll be little shirt pulls here and there. They'll be chirping away all game. Yeah.
How do you counteract that? Because that's no mean back row for Scotland. Somebody you know particularly well, the doc in there, Scotland captain Rachel Malcolm, Rachel McLaughlin, and Evie Gallagher, who ran very, very hard last week. Are they well equipped to counter that Welsh back row?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, Rachel's a phenomenal player, and Rachel Malcolm, you've got Rachel McLaughlin in there, who's been like in like real great form for Sale, and then Evie Gallagher last week I thought played really well. So it's going to be one almighty battle, and I do think, again, like Anna says, like, I think it'll be won or lost at the breakdown, because like Scotland want to unleash their backs. You're talking about Emma Orr, like that's going to come from being allowed to have quick ball. And there's one thing that we know Wales will want to do is stop that, and very similar for Wales as well. But yeah, so it's gonna be a good battle. I've got no doubt about it.
You can be sure as well, sounds like you're dead right. Like the kind of the few words in the rock and the pulling and dragging and like, what are you doing? Like pushing someone else into the ground. There was a few moments of that in the Ireland and Wales game last week, and like the commentator saying there's still a scuffle going on back there, but like you couldn't see it. So I was enjoying that. I thought it was really funny. But you can be sure that is going to happen this weekend between the Welsh and Scottish guys, because a lot of them know each other as well. It also like fires that up a little bit, but keep an eye out for it, because you can be sure that'll be going on. And you're right, like neither team can afford to give the other like quick rock ball. So they will be like lying on it, like twisting on the floor and pinning legs and pinning arms, and that's when you're like, leave me alone, and like scuffling on the ground. Choice words thrown in for sure. So they'll be loving that as well.
It's a fascinating one. We must wrap up with prediction with score. We'll go with you, Sunter, this time first.
I'm going to go with Scotland. I think at home, and
you want an easy ride it back at Loughborough, don't you? That's the bottom line.
No, I just think like they're at home. They've got a bit of a point to prove. They've definitely moved things forward from World Cup, and like it's going to click for them at some point. Like there's going to be that game, and I've just got a feeling that it could definitely be this game up there on Saturday. I think it'll be close. I think there'll be maybe 5-7 points in it, but I just think there's something about them that is going to get over the finish line.
I've been saying that for a while. Anna.
I think that's an interesting point as well, and actually a point that's already been made by some other people this week, that Scotland they're going to start winning the tight games because they've had so many tight results. And like, people may have forgotten, but we certainly haven't, that they already won the tight game against Ireland in Parma that sent them to a qualifier for the World Cup and sent us home. So they have that experience. They are able to like push it out. They just need to start doing it more consistently. And I think you're right about the home fixture. They're going to want to win it. So I want to say Scotland as well.
Bye.
Oh, and then I think of like what Wales are capable of doing as well. Okay, I'm gonna go Scotland by 5 points.
I've already written down. I'm saying Wales, and then you two speak so passionately about Scotland. Oh,
I mean, Wales are in form. They'll go there with confidence. There's no doubt about that. So,
Cecilia Tuipulotu, I mean,
amazing.
And Sinead Harris from the start.
Do it. Go for
Devon-
Wales.
Look, grandmother would turn in her grave if I didn't. So simple as that. The dragon would, yeah, she would very much turn in her grave. So Wales by 6. I go. Oh, sorry, Rachel Malcolm. On to
I'll tell her.
Sunday. You're going to tell her, aren't you? You text her straight away.
I'm Della Franco, and you're listening to the womensrugbypod.
On to Sunday, and it's them against it. It's them against Italy. England has dropped. Kath O'Donnell, Delaney Burns into the second row, winning her debut, the Bristol Bears second row, and Tatiana Hurd comes in for the injured Amber Reid. Of course, Bobby Cleal out injured as well. And Zoe Allcroft moved from the second row into a certain famous number 8 shirt. Can't believe they haven't retired it. Anna, do you like the look of Zoe Allcroft at 8? You played with her obviously at the Hartbury.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to you know, she was so strong, like such a strong ball carrier. So definitely, like, get her in there. I love how she plays, and she's really dynamic. And like, you know, she hasn't obviously, you know, played that much there for England. So, you know, I like it. Yeah, I think it's a really smart replacement for Sunts. And especially, well, I don't know how it would have been like if Poppy, and hope she's okay, how they would have managed it, but like definitely give Zoe a shot there. Yeah,
I think that certainly has changed it, and you may well correct me, Sunter, but I suspect if Poppy was fit, she would have gone to 8, and Kath O'Donnell would have come into the second row with Zoe Allcroft on the pod earlier this week. We were unsure about Poppy's injury. Why not Sarah Beckett? Why Zoe Allcroft, Sarah Hunter?
I think I think it's about balancing the team out, and I think if you look at I think Zoe has played back row for us beforehand. She's played at
6, not 8.
Yes, 6, but 6 or 8 there. All people start out with 6, move to 8, Johnny.
God, for 16 years, you've been going on about how important a number 8 is, and now you're just throwing away days after.
I started my life out as a back row player. I mean, a number 6. I've always been better at 6. No, genuinely, I think you look, it's Sadia, Marley, and Zoe as a back row. It's like a very dynamic, athletic, physical back row, and then you think about the line out options, and Delaney Burns coming into the second row, you know, to get a cap. I mean, people talk about injury and stuff, but it's an opportunity, and she came into camp last week and did like fantastically well. Like, she got called one night and was in the next day and knew the line outs inside, back to front, which I think is probably the help of Abby Ward to do that. But she just like took it all in her stride. So I'm not surprised that she's, with the injury, she's been given this call up, and she's taken that opportunity, and having her, and then obviously Kath, it probably balanced it out with that bit of physicality that maybe you miss from having Poppy. So I think it's not a bad move, and I think it's just getting that balance of what you want in your back row, and also making sure that there's enough line out options on there to ensure that we're asking questions of Italy's line out defence.
And in the back line, talking to back rowers, but Tatiana Hurd comes in at 12. I don't know, part of me thought that a site selection at 10-12 last week, with Holly getting her first start at 10. Amber Reid was a real safety blanket there, really experienced player, physical player, and also a boot. Holly went so well, but obviously a forced change with Amber Reid going out. Tatiana Hurd brings a huge amount of physicality and some go forward in and around some real footballers. Langi Tuima, a real footballer, got incredible finishes, as we saw, well, have been seeing for a long time, really, from Claudia McDonald, Abby Dow, and Jess Breach. But Jess Breach has been very keen to get back on a score sheet. She wasn't hugely involved in the World Cup. Is she pumped and ready to go, Sunter?
Yeah, I think it's deeply disappointing for Amber. to go out in the first game injured. And I mean, hopefully we might see her back before the end of the tournament. But I thought Tat did really well when she came on, and she is just a little powerhouse. You know, she's a little rocket that gives you that go forward. And I think coupled with the way I guess we wanted to play that game, the back three got their hands on the ball a bit more than I guess they might have done out in the World Cup. And Jess Breach has been in like some fine form for Saracens. You know, I think that move there has sort of revitalised her coming back from the World Cup, and she's been scoring tries for fun, and she just seems to have a bit more of a new lease and a breath of fresh air about her since coming into camp. So yeah, it's really good to see her out on the pitch performing.
I really agree with you, Sons. I think that Jess, like, she didn't have much room last week, and like I really want to see her in full flight this week, you know, and it looks so effortless when she's doing it and when she has space. And I'm really excited for her, and new change of club, and didn't play much of the World Cup, so I'm really excited to see her this weekend again. Like I'm gunning for her.
Anna, how scary is this? Hannah Bottoman, Bryony Cleal, Poppy Cleal, Tatisha Harper, Natasha Hunt, Emily Kildunn, Alex Matthews, Maud Muir, Amber Reid, Helen O'Rellan, Hannah Sims, Mona Talling, Vicky Cornborough, Vicky Fleetwood, Rosie Gallagher, Zoe Harrison, Laura Keats, Emily Scout, and Abby Ward are all unavailable. How scary is that, and how scary is that prospect for it? Without those players, still decided to England put on the field for Italy this weekend?
Yeah, someone I was chatting to someone about England, and they were like, you know, they have a lot of injuries now, so I think this might be a good time to, you know, pip England. And this was before they kind of released their team last week. And I was thinking, like, okay, interesting, let's have a look at England's team then. And you're just like, oh my goodness, like it's scary. Yeah, you're right, it's scary, but scary good. It's unbelievable. I'm like, what? It's I wish we could all say the same. And you know, those girls, like, it's so hard to be out and injured and see the girls that are coming into your place like playing so well. It just makes you want to get straight back out there and back to work. But when you're injured, you have to take that time to recover. But it means you're pushing yourself in training to be like even better, you know. And we always say, you know, like the comeback is better. How does it go? The comeback is always better than the setback, or something along those lines. That means that, you know, when those players come back, scary is a good word to use.
And I love your turn of phrase. I genuinely, my children use phrases that you use because I've picked them up from you. Like, they use toenail. They call people toenails. Like, where on earth did that come from? It's Anna Caplice. A little homage to you there. Sunter, Italy are a bit of a bogey team, though. People get frustrated. Your good old mate Katie Daly were clean a few years back at the Stoop. Was carded, wasn't she? I think it was a red, wasn't it? And I know I've been out in Italy a couple of times, especially sort of like first halves. You really, really struggle. Why did Italy get under the skin, are able to stop England? And do you see that happening again at Franklin's Gardens on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be something that they've spoken about in the week. You know, Italy are a great team at keeping the ball. You know, at times, especially last season, if I think back, we struggled to get the ball back off them. You know, they looked after it well, they played it well, and we did struggle. And then when we did have the ball, you know, they defend well. They make life difficult for us. So I think it's something that happens or has happened on a regular basis, that, you know, it takes us a while to break them down. But I don't think that's a bad thing, though. Like, I think it's a good thing to have a competitive game like that, and for us to work things out. I just think we need to be a bit more patient about how we approach the game, and knowing the way in which Italy will play, and not let it get under our skin, because we know that they can frustrate us. And I think when we get frustrated, that probably means we then compound errors and get into this bit of a rut before actually we get to half time. We talk about it, and then we turn it around in the second half. So it would be really good if we could come out right from the start and like impose ourselves onto the game, and, you know, build on the performance that we saw against Scotland.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't got. I've just checked again now. No Italy team that I can find, so we can't talk about them in great detail. I don't think there'll be many changes because I know there are too many other options. I just think interesting across round 2. Just fascinated to see how the likes of Wales back it up. Which half was representative of Ireland? Was it the first half, or actually more composed second half? Italy can actually work out that if they can't kick more than 50, 40, 45 meters, then actually another way of getting around that and using Rigoni in a slightly different way. It's a fascinating round 2.
We don't actually know. We still don't know where teams stand, and I suppose that's probably obvious. I just love like their back row, and like you see Giada, Franco, and I'm so excited to see her back, and like all of them are in like phenomenal shape. Italy are an interest. They have so many exciting players, and so much Italy, and take huge confidence in that, and they'll believe that they can push England this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I don't disagree. They won't come over to make up the numbers. Come on then. Finally, we'll wrap it up with a prediction then. Anna.
England by 30.
Stole mine.
31.
Like, genuinely, England by 35.
Was that you went for Italy, Sarah Hunter? Whoa, okay. England by 36 plus.
Ooh.
Eaton Johnny.
That's punchy, isn't it? I don't know why I've gone that far. I don't know. Brilliant. There you are. There's a whistle stop around the teams and a little look at round 2. Anna, thank you so much for joining us on the WRP. Hugely appreciate not only your wonderful turns of phrase, but your views and what have you on the Six Nations. Great to have you on as ever. Where will you be watching the games this weekend?
I'm actually going to Madrid tomorrow to watch that Four Nations tournament. I know a lot of the girls playing, and obviously, like my friend Lynn as well, Lynn Cantwell is a director in South African rugby. So there's a lot of people to see in Madrid this weekend, and I'm delighted to go and see some live rugby in the sunshine, where it's actually warm and where I actually need sun cream. So I'll be tuning in like between the 2 games and afterwards as well. But it's actually nice to tune in on my laptop so I can hear like the English commentary, because if I watch it with like Spanish commentary, usually I don't pick up on half as much stuff. So I'll have my laptop open at the game.
That's Spain, USA, Canada, and SA. Brilliant. Thanks ever so much once again. Give Lynn a big hug from all of us here, and enjoy your weekend and enjoy the Inibrice Tonica.
Thanks a million. Great to see you.
See you, Anna. Lovely to see you.
You too. Slán.
So we have the international news from last week. In the Super W, New South Wales beat Western Force 43-0. Fijiana Drua beat the Brumbies 12-7. Melbourne Rebels lost out at home to Queensland 43-0. Fijiana lead the way with that latest win, now 5 from 5. New South Wales in second, Queensland third, and Brumbies in fourth.
Super Rugby, Al Picky from New Zealand. It was finals weekend. I was an incredible final, absolute full throttle, and it's huge congratulations to Matatu, who beat the Chiefs 33 points to 31. Matatu came out from 19-0 down, pulverizing the Manawa scrum to score 4 tries and then stayed strong at the end to edge out the favourites. Good win for the South. Renee Holmes with 23 points, including 2 tries. Her World Cup winner, Amy Rule, and Martha Matalei on the score sheet as well. In the other final, another cracker, Hurricanes Boer won 29-24 over the Blues women.
2 other internationals took place at the weekend in Madrid. First time USA and Spain have met outside of a World Cup. Kate Zachary's side won 20 points to 14. Meanwhile, South Africa took on Canada, and World Cup semi-finalist Canada made it a double for the North American with a 66-7 win. Third highest win of all time. some way to kick off a new cycle. And this weekend, we see South Africa take on Spain.
And USA against Canada. And Anna Caplice will be there watching with a Hinebritha in hand, no doubt. Speaking of Ireland, buried in a press release, Ireland have announced that they're hugely successful, and the results are there for all to see. Aidan McNulty has left the position of Ireland women's sevens head coach and has been replaced by Alan Temple-Jones. Ahead of this weekend's Hong Kong Sevens, Temple-Jones was previously head of athletic performance for the Ireland Sevens programme from 2017 to 2021. And it is a massive good luck as we turn our attention to a couple of little shout outs to all the players and nations heading over to Hong Kong this weekend. First time the Women's World Series has been included for the women. I can't quite believe that it is 2023 after all, at the home of sevens. This is the penultimate round before the circus moves to Toulouse. The current standings, and it's all about Olympic qualification, isn't it? Of course, France is the host and New Zealand already there. If Australia and USA reach the quarterfinals, they will also qualify, leaving only a single place. The chasing pack are as follows: Ireland with 58 points, Fiji 48 points, and Team GB on 44 points.
I'd also like to give another shout out for someone at Hong Kong this weekend or currently there. Abby Burton, just think incredible, like returning to rugby after maybe over a year out with all the troubles that she's had. I just think she's been very vocal about it, but I just want to shout her out for overcoming all that and getting back and playing rugby. Just think it's incredible. And then finally, I want to shout out the England under-20s who followed suit on Saturday, winning in Kingston Park, beating Scotland Futures 66-19.
They did indeed. Maya Stewart, last shout out for you, become the first New South Wales Waratah women's player to reach 100 points, while Caitlin Halsey becoming the youngest ever debutant at 16 years and 167 days. Like you, Sunter.
Yeah. That's how long I've been playing rugby for, Johnny. England rugby.
Is it 178 days? Speaking of numbers corresponding, you won on your 144th cap last week. Guess what regular week pod it was on the Women's Rugby Pod last week? 141.
That's scary, isn't it?
Bonkers, eh? Yeah, thank you. My family were equally as unimpressed as well. So brilliant. Our live show, it's up now, eventbrite.co.uk. Get those tickets in there at the Cabbage Patch in Twickenham, Friday the 28th of April, ahead of that big game at Twickenham, which is a world record already. Yeah, brilliant. Fair play. There's certainly little bits and pieces that will annoy us and we feel that aren't done correctly, but with a conversation with Anna and when you see things like that, the world record for a women's international smashed the Eden Park record from the World Cup final already, and we've still got a couple of weeks of ticket sales to go. Fair play to the RFU, who've committed to the women's game earlier than anyone else, and now reaping the benefits of it. So fair play. Shout out to the RFU. 28th of April, Friday, Cabbage Patch, Eventbrite for those tickets. Huge thank you to Anna Caplice. Lovely to have you back in the chair alongside Sunter. You'll have more time to do this as a regular thing now. Where are you watching the game?
I will be at Franklin's Gardens.
Last holiday.
I wish. I'm working. You'll be able to see me on the telly box.
Seriously, Daddy, if you haven't had enough over the past week, you can see her on Sunday as well. Brilliant. Scathing, slashing halftime reports about how terrible they are, lacking composure. Look at the control at 8. That was terrible. Yeah, I can hear it all now. You're hearing that, absolutely. Big thank you to Tom and Vicky in the background as well. Enjoy your Six Nations over the weekend. Be safe and be kind.